Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. One of the things we get asked about more and more these days is adjustable bases. So we wanted to show you an adjustable base from a company that is really well established in this space called Leggett Platt. This is a company that's been around over 100 years and has been making adjustable bases a really long time. And the base we're going to show you today is called the S-Cape 2.0, which is their most popular base, both online as well as in brick and mortar stores. We're going to walk you through all the features of this base, explain them in plain English, and show you how they work. So stick around. So the first thing you need to know about this base is that everything on it is controlled through this wireless remote, which in itself is a feature since not all adjustable bases have a wireless remote. This wireless remote has a couple other nifty features. Number one, it has a backlit keyboard, makes it easy to use in the dark. Number two, has a lock button, which you can hold for 5 seconds in order to completely lock the functionality of your base. So that's great if you have little kids running around, maybe even pets that could accidentally activate the features of the base. You don't want that when they're not being supervised. And the third thing it has as a feature is the ability to just stand it up right here. So that's a handy thing, makes it easier to grab right off your nightstand. So a couple of neat features about this remote. And lastly, another nice feature of this base that's activated by this remote is the underbed lighting, which you can turn it on and off with this little light bulb button. As you can see, I press the button. It doesn't look like much in a well-lit room like this, but in a dark room, this would be more than enough to get you safely in and out of the room. So now we're going to talk about the elevation features of this mattress, starting with the head. I'll elevate that. We've timed this out. It takes about 30 seconds to go from flat to fully elevated, which is 58 degrees on this model. The head and the foot are both controlled, the elevation separately by different motors. And we're going to show you some of the programmable features of this as well. So basically, now we're in the fully elevated position. This would be 58 degrees. You know, great position for working on your laptop, maybe watching TV. Could even be good for eating in bed or playing video games. Now we're going to elevate the foot. This takes about 18 seconds or so to go from flat to fully elevated, which is 44 degrees. You're probably not going to generally be elevating both of these things simultaneously to their full elevation positions, but this is what it would look like if you did. Then they've got a flat button where you could just press flat and you can simultaneously brings you all the way to flat. So beyond just the simple elevation, there's a couple other cool features we want to tell you about the elevation on this base. Number one is the pre-programmable positions, and there's a few of them that you can program into your remote. I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say head up, like I just had it here. Now I'll elevate the feet a little bit, and we'll try to get ourselves into what you might consider to be like a zero gravity type position. In this case, actually, my head's probably a little more elevated than a traditional zero G position. But let's say this is my zero G. I can use this zero gravity button. I hold the set button down until the massage motor vibrates, letting me know it's been stored. And now, every time I press the zero gravity button, I'll be taken to this position. Likewise, I can do that same thing with the memory 1 button and the memory 2 button to store unique positions for each of those. The other cool feature about the programmables is that there's a snore feature. And so what you can do there is figure out what's a position that you most like to sleep in, and you store that under memory 1. So for a lot of you, it might be flat that you like to sleep in, but for some of you, it might be, you know, something like this, let's say, or maybe it's just your head a little bit elevated, you know, 5 or 10 degrees. What you do is you then set the snore position to be maybe 5 or 10 degrees more than that, a little higher up in the head of the base, which is enough to open your breathing passageways if someone is snoring. And what the snore button does is you press the snore button, It'll take you from wherever position you're in up to that snore position, but only for a limited period of time. It'll hold you there for 15 minutes and then automatically bring you back down to the memory 1 position. So basically, if at any point during the night your partner is snoring, you just press the snore button, you get elevated, let's say 5 or 10 degrees, whatever you set it to. 15 minutes go by, you take back down to the position that you like to sleep in most. So they call that the marriage saver button. The next big feature of this base is the massage functionality. And for this, they also have 2 motors, one controlling the foot of the bed and one controlling the head of the bed. And you can activate them both separately on the remote. There are 3 speeds on each. So if you just press plus 3 times, in the head, for example, I've now activated the maximum massage speed in the head. I can do the same thing in the foot. And I can tell you, first of all, even though I'm not sitting directly on top of the motor, I might as well be, because it certainly feels like I'm getting a lot of vibration here. The next feature of the massage is I can activate this wave functionality, where it takes that massage and it alternates it between the head and the foot. So it kind of just gives you the sensation that it's waving back and forth, that it's kind of flowing, the vibrations are flowing back and forth between your head and your foot, which is nice. And to turn these massage features off, I just press the minus button until they turn off. Now obviously, an adjustable base is going to have to fit into your bedroom, and it may even need to fit with some of your existing furniture. So you probably want to know how that would work. And the answer is that, like a lot of adjustable bases, this base can be slotted right into most bedroom furniture, most beds. Like this one, for example, it just drops right in and the bed kind of just is around it. And in many cases, if you've got this in a flat position, you probably won't even see the adjustable base. They will be entirely concealed behind the sides of the bed. Likewise, if you just use a headboard, this thing can be attached to your headboard so it doesn't move around relative to your headboard. And in terms of the aesthetics of it, it comes in a pretty neutral gray fabric, so that even when you do see it, even when it's in that elevated position, or if it's not covered by comforters and sheets and blankets, it's a nice looking fabric that you would see. Another thing to note on the aesthetics is that there are 4 legs on this base, and each of the legs can be adjusted in terms of their height. This is what the legs look like. The adjustment is as simple as a click, and they can be adjusted in 1-inch increments. So you can have the legs as short as 6 inches, like this, which would give you a surface of about 15.5 inches or so of the top of the foundation here, in a flat position, obviously. And you can also bring it all the way up to about 10 inches tall, like that. And that would make the top of the foundation in a flat position about 19.5 inches tall. So factor that into when you're thinking about how tall your mattress is and how tall you want the top of your mattress to be off the ground. The last thing aesthetically about this base that's super cool, and this is actually a feature that's all throughout the Leggett & Platt adjustable base line, is that one thing you don't notice here is a retainer bar. Now every base, adjustable base, needs to have a way to hold the mattress in place when it gets elevated up and down, because otherwise the mattress will tend to slide and it gets out of position. But the clever thing that Leggett has done here is that they've added these little strips. They're almost like Velcro, but they feel completely smooth. They basically just stick to one thing, which is the fabric that 99% of mattresses have on the bottom of them. So there's a strip here and there's a strip further underneath the base, and the mattress basically sticks to that, and that holds it in place so that you don't need a retainer bar. Now that's super handy because one of the complaints people do have sometimes about adjustable bases is having to make the bed when dealing with a retainer bar. So this completely eliminates that. You can see the strip is far enough underneath the mattress that you have plenty of room to tuck in your sheets and what have you without disrupting the functionality of either of those strips. Now, if for whatever reason your mattress, let's say, doesn't have that fabric on the bottom, or that doesn't work for you, they do still provide you with a retainer bar that would drop right into here. Super easy. It comes in the box, so you always have that option as a fallback. But for most people, you're going to be able to get away without a retainer bar, which is a nice feature. One nice feature of a more sophisticated adjustable base like this one is called wall hugger functionality. And I'm going to just start elevating my head here. But what I want to show you is that this is my nightstand. There's my water. Nice and accessible when the bed is flat. Now on a non-wall hugger base, as the head elevates, I would get further and further from my water. But on a wall hugger base, as the head elevates, I'm simultaneously being moved backwards towards the wall, so that even in a fully upright elevated position, I can still access the things on my nightstand. Wall hugger functionality. One important thing to consider when picking out an adjustable base is weight limit. And in the case of this base, this is one of the higher weight limits we've seen, which is 850 pounds. Now, also bear in mind that the weight limits when we quote them are based essentially on the motors. And so to the extent that you, let's say, have a king base and choose to have side-by-side twin XL adjustable bases to power the king adjustable functionality, they would each have a weight limit of 850 pounds, so that would actually give you a total weight limit of 1,700 pounds. You're also going to want to keep in mind that the weight limits are going to include not only the weight of the sleepers on any given mattress or on any given foundation, but also the weight of the mattress on that foundation. A mattress might weigh on average 100 pounds or so, but can be heavier, so make sure you factor that in as well. But overall, 850 pounds is a nice weight limit. Another important consideration for most shoppers is going to be the price of the adjustable base. And in this case, since Leggett Platt doesn't sell this base directly, the price is going to vary based on the retailer. What we can say is that this is a base that actually is sold by Amazon, and we've seen the price vary because Amazon does change their prices frequently, but it ranges between, say, $1,000 and $1,200 in a queen size. One last consideration that's going to be important to you when picking out an adjustable base is going to be warranty, because you're hopefully going to keep this adjustable base for a long time. And this is one area where it's nice to have a company like Leggett Platt standing behind the base, who's been around a long time themselves. And in this case, they offer a 25-year warranty on this base. And it works like this. The full, the metal and the structural support of this base is covered for a full 25 years. If that breaks at any point in time, it will be replaced for you. For the first 3 years of that 25-year warranty, all the parts for this base will be covered. They'll be shipped to you, however, you won't have the labor to actually replace them. You'll have to install them yourselves. That being said, this is a pretty simple foundation to stick new parts into. So it shouldn't be something that you necessarily need some help with if you're pretty handy. And then for the first year of the warranty, everything is covered insofar as if anything breaks, not only will the parts be provided, but also, if necessary, someone will be sent out to install those parts in your base for you. So we definitely think that that's a warranty that you can take some confidence in when buying this base. So we hope you found this video helpful in better understanding the features and functionality of the Leggett Platt S-Cape 2.0 adjustable base. For more helpful information about finding the right mattress for you, go to GoodBed.com. In the meantime, we thank you for watching, and we really hope you sleep well.